Good morning, Hit Nation, folks, Fuguettes, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the host of My Happiness, the host of My Worthless Half a Penny, which I just released, part 56. Pretty much saying the same thing as I've said from the beginning of the season. I have something prepared for you guys, but it is important to kind of restate a few things. First of all, I'm very surprised the Miami Heat got the win against the Cavaliers. We did the same thing, if I'm not mistaken, the first game. I don't think they had Mitchell. Well, they were not fully healthy. When I saw that starting lineup with Garland, with Mobley, with Allen, and Mitchell, of course, that's a scary lineup, you know? And I think that helped kind of, reduce my expectations for the game, as I said, and I had said it before. I do think that this is an issue that, certainly would, we were not, I don't think that we were by any measures before the season started, that we were favorites, right? I think that we were maybe not by much, being this a regular season, but with their roster compared to ours, without Bam Adebayo, without Tyler Hero from the beginning of the season, us being able to pull a playoff type of game was just amazing. So before I even speak about the game tonight, because now we play against them away, and again, I expect us to split these two games. I think that's a reasonable expectation to have, especially having won the game by that with a similar measure than the one that happened a few years back with that guy that we shouldn't mention his name. Except that game, I think, was 96-94 or 96-95. I don't exactly remember, but it was a win with pretty much the same thing, 0.4 of a second, pretty much the same play. Both 22s coming from the back, kind of getting rid of that created mess a little bit away from the basket and been able to just fly with a good assist, in this case from Jovic. The game had Norman Powell with 33 points, Andrew Wiggins with 23 points, most improved player of the year and sixth man of the year, Jaime Jaquez Jr. with 22 points, sorry. And then we had Khalil Ware with 14 points, 20 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnovers, a +6. Powell with a +17. Davion Mitchell, he had 11 points, right behind Simon Fontecchio with 13 points. And just in front of Pelle Larsson with 10 points. He was a +12. Pelle Larsson was a -6 because of his 3 turnovers, but 4 assists, 5 rebounds. 4 of those defensive, 1 offensive rebound. Khalil Ware with 7 offensive rebounds. Fontecchio with 1, Jaime Jaquez with 1, but the 12 rebounds, 12 defensive rebounds, so 13 rebounds, another double-double for Jaime Jaquez, 7 assists, just plain amazing. And I see here, because of the turnovers, I guess, with 2 blocks, it has a -2. That's why I don't like this plus or minus. It means nothing. Simon Fontecchio, in my opinion, played a lot better than what is a -15. He didn't, 4 out of 9, 44.4% from the field, 3 out of 7 3 points made. It's the free throws, I guess. The free throws is what gets him. I can't really think about anything else. But that's just talking about the players themselves and how they kind of fit into the narrative. Everybody contributing, Drew Smith with 6 points, didn't have any rebounds, only had 1 assist. Of course, he had a -10. But Nikola Jovic with a +8 with only 8 points, right? But 8 rebounds, 4 assists. The last one was amazing, was from out of bounds. I'm not sure that, we'll talk about that. But Jaquez with a -2 makes no sense. Pelle Larsson with a -6. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. That's what does it. And Andrew Wiggins with a 0. That's just ridiculous. It's just, the plus-minus is ridiculous. But every one of them doing a pretty good job. So I expected a better season than one before, sure. But I never expected 5-0 at home. The first time that we went more than 3 games and 0 at home was the 2019-2020 that made it to the finals. Last video, I said that we did it 3 times and this is our 4th. No, this is our 3rd. We did it twice before and we weren't champions. I did say that we went to the finals once, but I let it slip that we were champions. No, we went to the finals and we lost against Lakers in 2019, 2020. I think the team before that did win. I'm not sure. 2013, 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, in 2019, 2020, we went 11-0. So I never expected a 5-0 at home. I never expected a 7-4 with 6 games away, playing against the top dogs of at each of their current stages, without normal power for some of those games, without Hero for any of those games, without Bam now for 3 games. We battled against the Knicks when they had the best defense, and we got the W. We bet against the Hornets when they had their best offense, and we reigned on the start of the season parade. We beat the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard in the lineup, which is the first time we did it after 17 games. We started 5-0 again on the 3rd time in our history. We had the highest scoring quarter of any quarters in any regular postseason for the Miami Heat, and shy a couple points of the NBA record. We lost to Orlando, right? That's one of those teams that in the beginning, is very difficult to do. I don't know what would happen if we faced them again, but it wasn't an easy game again. Orlando didn't have it easy against us. The Spurs and their mythical 5-0 start, it was kind of meant to be. The refs didn't help either. The Lakers are just amazing, right? Versatile team with, Austin Reeves, the best undrafted player in recent NBA history, as far as I can remember. Luka Doncic, probably the second, if not, it's always between him and Jokic, in my opinion, as the best players in the NBA. It's not even, nothing against Shea, but, or even Giannis. But these guys are just on another level, especially when healthy. Fair losses, and the schedule loss against the Nuggets, which I don't even count. I say that a perfect season for us would be 80-0 because we'd lose against the Nuggets. So, we would have actually maybe even gotten the Nuggets, or at least gotten it closer, and up until a certain point it was closer, but then Bam got down. This has been a great start of the season, and now with enough of a sample size to say we are definitely on the right track to establish a good record through 20. Now after 11. We still have the Cavaliers now away. We have the Knicks back-to-back, one of them for the NBA Cup, which doesn't matter absolutely anything. And of course, we have the Warriors, just dropped by ESPN. It's going to be on FanDuel. It's going to be at 7:30. And it's one of those games that I don't like because I don't like tensions built on top of tensions. It's enough that we have to worry about the season itself. I said that before. I'm just repeating. Now, as for what makes us successful, we can certainly say it's the pace. But how so? Last season, we had 2 things that we implemented clearly. The pace and the 3-pointers. Thank God. There are certain things that, not being a basketball connoisseur in general, it makes it very difficult for me to just say those things and feel confident about it. I never feel confident about my opinions in basketball. I can feel confident about what I see. I can feel confident about certain things that I predict. I make silly mistakes. That's why I continue admitting that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, when I saw that the 3 points were always a long shot, and sometimes it was just better to take the mid-range, and I had arguments, including Ralph defending Spo's choice at the time, saying that it's just the same percentage, mid-ranges and 3, so we might as well get an extra point. And then we're just kind of sinking. First of all, we're not taking as many 3s because everybody kind of figured this out and wouldn't allow us to take 3s. Or our 3s were not being successful in general. But now we have mid-ranges, and mid-ranges working, and good execution with that pace. We may lose. Increased pace means that we're going to get more scored on, even when our offense is not, before last game was in number 6 offensive rating. So our defense, our defense is not bad at all, but we are going to get scored on if the pace is quicker. It just opens the door to a kind of, NBA 2K kind of situation. More time, more baskets, right? That's basically the way that it is. At least that's how I see it. But Powell helped us immensely. is replacing Hero at a plus size because of his experience and is having a season of his career. However, I say that loosely because this is not a zero-sum game. Come Hero, and it's going to be a good problem for Spo. First of all, because you have two people now on top of Wiggins, because again, we are going to still consider Wiggins' production similar to the one that we shall not mention in the Warriors, but similar to the one, by the way, is the performance of who is supposed to be a role player. Even though it could start, imagine him coming off, playing this well, but coming off as a six-man and getting to those second units and ravaging those second units while you have Hero and Powell. Okay, you lose a little bit of defense, but then the defenses of other teams, they have a problem. They have to choose. They have to pick who exactly they're going to guard because now we have two prolific scorers. We missed that in Miami, or we supposedly had that, Hero included, with the other one who we shall not name, but it was never executed. Now, both of those threads, along the exceptional usual suspects, Hackes, Larson, Drew Smith, whether it comes with Bam or for Bam, when connected, that guy is amazing, and it shows how deep our roster is. And as long as we keep doing what we have been doing, that's a good thing. This is not a one-off. The one-off was the 29 points from Jovic. But the consistency of his good game, that's the part that matters to me the most. For 2 seasons, we watched the Heat barely break 100 while holding opponents under 100 to more or less success, right? Far less last season than the one before. Remember that the one before, we had lots of close games, but we won those, the majority of those. And last season, lots of close games, and we lost those. This season, it seems that we are winning those. We're getting those. And that's a very important thing, being secure down the stretch, being able to have players who defend. And in this case, I would say maybe Wiggins comes for Hero at the end of the stretch if we need a defense, and Hero comes for Wiggins once the tables turn and we need more offense. Now we have Simon Fontecchio producing consistently, shooting the three at a rate that we had Duncan doing only when he was in a good streak, but he does better. He does better in the paint. He does better with rebounds. Maybe not so much for his size, but he does better. He's a great power forward, considering the best power forwards that we had in the latest seasons, being, Myers Leonard, Gabe Vincent, Highsmith. I think we're in good position when it comes to him. Great trade, even though the Pistons are number 1 in the East. The season is young. There are many games to talk about, but I said this before. There's no single player I wish to trade for anything right now, unless it's a guaranteed superstar. Like Jokic, Giannis. Bring me Giannis. We can talk about certain players. You cannot talk to me about Ja Morant. I'm sorry. It's too much. I'm not saying that Ja Morant wouldn't work. It could very well possibly work, but this is not a position to empty the pockets for Ja Morant. I'm sorry. Right? We did that for Terry, by the way. I know it's different circumstances, a much, much different kind of player. But it doesn't work. When the drama is surrounding those people, it's very complicated. Even though Ja Morant comes from a middle-class family, never had any issues with his life, he still chooses to stay in this nonsense kind of vibe. It's not good for us. So nothing. I don't want Ja for Hackes and Ware. Whatever the pundits like to bullshit about. I want to see this team's full potential. Truth is, none of us expected to go far this season, or not that much farther than last season. If Heat Twitter and social media are anything to go by in terms of a thermometer. But it sucks that my expectations have now actually increased, and now I have something dangerous, which is called hope, right? I hope that it continue to play this way. I hope that it continue to be healthy for my own mental health and sake. It's not the best thing in the world, but it is what it is. It's still early. There's a lot of water to go through the mill, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Tonight is tonight. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this very complicated world of ours, and let's go Heat.